Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cactus Patch. I'm your host, Glitch Cactus, but you can call me Cactus. And today we have a very special episode with a very special guest. As you notice to my side, we have the Jwittz. Jwittz, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, honestly. I have been having some trouble. I was just talking to you before the stream. I'm having some trouble with bedtimes with my son, and we had the best bedtime ever. Got him down at like 7:30, so I've been able to breathe for a second. It's when you become a parent, like the smallest, most minuscule things become like the story of your day. So for me, it's like I had a great day with my son, and so it feels like I just won a marathon. It's the scope is a lot smaller, but the feeling of accomplishment and victory is still there.
I'm
So
about to
I'm
say
I'm
it's
doing great.
it's just as rewarding.
Energized. Oh, for sure. Yeah, you got to pick your battles. The everything changes. But yeah, no, I'm doing well. Having a good time. Weather's getting warmer.
Oh,
I'm
I
in
know,
kind of like
finally.
that. I'm in that gamer mood because we just got kind of a very big abundance of gaming information. We had two directs like 6 days apart.
hmm
I even got bits and pieces from a treehouse thing that was just going on
Oh, it's
today.
right. I
So
forgot all about the treehouse and the
um,
gameplay.
I I I had it on, kind of like passively while I was watching some sorry, I had it on passively while I was doing some stream related stuff for work. I was watching while I was watching. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of locked in. I know it's not strictly Splatoon related, but I'm feeling more of that like gamer kid energy, and that's always an exciting time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we had what? I think it was the Pokemon Direct, then right after Switch 2 Direct. There's lots of fun information we get tossed at ourselves. Like you mentioned, the Treehouse, so we actually see the games that were going on. Today actually I got tons of YouTube videos recommended to me of all those people that got to actually invited out to play the Switch 2 and
Ah,
what it's like, wishing that was me.
yeah, it's funny. I was that guy for the last console that came out, and
hmm
I'm not anymore. Um you feel a tiny bit of FOMO. Again, like life trajectory and everything has changed.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, my sister is going to the New York one this
Oh,
weekend, so
lovely.
I'll be telling her about, how bad a person she is, etc. But, it's funny. Yeah, the last one of the big highlights for me was Splatoon 2. My wife and I were really big fans of the first game, and
hmm
we did one of those in person Nintendo previews. If I can find an old image for it, I'll share it with you. You can throw it somewhere. I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
Easter eggs.
absolutely.
The green and pink ones, the ones that turn into amiibo, but they were life sized. But because we were fluent and familiar with the game, we were legit like 30-0ing these press people who had maybe not played Splatoon before or a shooter before.
Yeah.
And I think we probably actually made less like people who are now lifelong never gonna play Splatoon because of what we did to them. Um, but it was a funny experience. So yeah, but yeah, that was kind of like a launch game for the last console. Not quite for the new one. I think we're still enjoying a bit of what three has to offer still. But yeah, I'm getting that same stuff in my feed. I'm like, okay, what are you guys playing? How's it going? Is it good? Is it fun? Is it worth my money? Uh,
Yeah, that's a whole topic that we'll toss
we'll
into a
get
little
there.
bit later. Yeah, absolutely. But let's start off for those that maybe, you know, don't know who you are. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself and what you do?
For sure. Hey everybody, my name is Joshua. Most people know me though as the Jwitz or Jwitz. It's a long story. Jwitz was it's actually my MC name. I did a lot of performing in, believe it or not, the hip hop industry. I did rapping, but primarily beatboxing at the time, coming like out of high school. Jwitz kept the content creator name Jwitz. Jwitz was already taken though on YouTube and Twitter.
That's actually
Some other
insane.
guy. I know this was back in 2008, 2009. Some dude, his name was just Joe Witz. So I became the Jwitz. Anyways, the big thing most people know me for is internet content creation, a bit on Twitch, mostly on YouTube, mostly around Pokemon. But I've done a lot of different things over the years. My big start was through the Pokemon trading card game. I did a lot of competing at the World Championships for actually playing the game, and then I did commentary for many years after that. Mostly, I just work in the content creator space when I'm not making stuff myself. It is becoming less and less over the years, becoming a father, going into, full-time responsibilities, etc. But I've worked for Twitch, Stream Elements, and currently I'm with the gaming themed charity Gamers Outreach, which is a good part of why I'm here talking with you guys today.
That's incredible. So you've had quite the run in when it comes to like advancing from like just regular content making all the way up to being able to kind of turn it into a job, which I feel like is a lot of people's dreams, especially nowadays, right? You have all those young inspiring creators that start off
Yeah,
by now making what TikToks, so now it's like
it's I mean, the whole scene is completely different. It's
mhm.
I almost feel bad in a sense because people will ask me for advice and I'm like, "Man, my advice was really good in like 2012, but now that it's, been so much further, I think some advice, some things are evergreen, but I think the biggest difference is just that content is the thing now. Like
Yeah.
everybody understands content creation. Literally everybody watches a YouTuber or follows a Twitch streamer or
Mhm.
a TikToker. Like everybody has a name that they know, and that wasn't really a thing when I was growing up.
Mhm.
I mean, I wasn't, 16, 17 until YouTube as a platform was even becoming popular. Not everybody had a smartphone. So the scene's changed a lot, but now it's just sort of the world.
Yeah.
I was seeing like when kids are asked like, what do you want to be when you grow up? When I was growing up, it was like really rudimentary. Like I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a scientist. I want to be major league baseball player.
Yeah.
Number one is content creator now.
Mhm.
So I can certainly I could talk your ear off about the highs and lows of content creation, but like you said, yeah, I shouldn't say everybody's goal should be, but I think most people should use the things you learn from content creation, the things you like about it, try and turn that into a career if you can, if it's not, going, completely wild. But when it is going wild, if you're able to get a big break or whatever, that I feel like there's no shame in trying to make a big run with it. Um, I did the same. It was crazy, and it was unprecedented Wild West times. For me, like I feel like a lot of people still know me and a lot of people discover my stuff over the years still,
Mhm.
but I look at the stats, like I peaked in 2013. So, like I still had a great run, going up until 20. So, but like stat wise, it was 2013, the release of Pokemon X and Y and stuff. So,
Mhm.
you know, um, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. But everybody, I think, wants to just take the things that they love and use those to some degree to continue to make a career out of it. There's some give or take with like every single piece of it, but I have been very fortunate to just like always be able to touch the video game entertainment industry in some degree. Like here or there, I'm always like connected to it in some way, and I think that that's super cool. It's I shouldn't say it's all I've ever cared about. I care about a lot of things, but it's always been like number one. That's been my obsession. Like, you know, like it's so cliche to be like, oh yeah, I'm a gamer, but I mean,
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
my job title is Gamers Outreach. I'm literally a gamer. Like,
Yeah, it's in your name, it's
it's
in
on
the
my
title.
business.
It's what you get to
Yeah.
be proud of nowadays, right? Because of course back then, saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing
Oh,
gaming for a living," it's like, "Oh, like you sure you don't want to go to like law school?"
yeah. I mean, yeah, I got told, oh, is that a real job? The irony being, like, probably my best. Uh, I don't know. For a stretch of, I would say, 8, 9 years, like the most money I made was doing gaming full time.
Mhm.
Um, not just that, whether or not it's how much money you make, but also just like the reach that I had, the things I was able to do, the people I was able to talk with, like video gaming was a big serious thing, and I think people didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
Now it's, I mean, it's literally the biggest entertainment industry in the world. Video games make billions and billions of dollars, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So many more people are exposed to games in one way or another. The barrier to entry is a lot lower because PCs are affordable for everybody. Give it more affordable than they were, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You don't need a high end PC to jump in and play some Minecraft or some Fortnite or whatever, and all of a sudden you're playing one of the most popular games in the world. You don't need a console, but even if you do, you've got portable consoles, you've got high end consoles, you've got phones. There's an insane amount of stuff you can play in your phones. Gaming's everywhere. So yeah, it was pretty cool being there somewhat early to it
Hmm.
and getting to watch it grow and unfold. Some of it is sad though. Some of it has changed a lot. I really wanted to be actually more the journalism track of things. I
Hmm.
really loved video game journalism, video game magazines. Um, I remember like as I was finishing up college, the website Polygon just came out. And when it was brand new, it was like this power team of all of these really big journalists who all decided to quit their job to make like the ultimate games press platform. And of course, none of those people are still at the website anymore.
Yeah.
Games press has been like shut down everywhere. It's very sad. But ironically, I think my job is kind of what killed it was content creation. Like people would much rather get their stuff in this like quick video format or even
Hmm.
something like a video essay. But
Yeah.
people like the one voice that they like to listen to, and so they'll pick the one person versus a press outlet where you have a dozen people, different people are covering it. So I do miss that. Like the scene keeps changing. So there's old things I'm nostalgic for, but I'm always super optimistic for the future. And it's easier than ever, like in a world where everybody understands games, or
Hmm.
millions more people understand games, then I can talk about what I do and people can understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's begotten a more broader understanding in all aspects. And you no longer have to get down to like the very basics and like break apart every little aspect to try to make someone understand it like you used to have
Hey,
to
this
do.
is okay, so this is what a video game is. Yeah, like oh man, real story. So someone saw, I was wearing a Twitch shirt, just like I am today. I was at the ice cream shop the other day, and the woman behind the counter was like, "Oh, do you stream on Twitch? What do you make?" I'm working on my VTuber model. And it floored me because I'm like, oh, that's a word we can just say in public now.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I'm obsessed with VTubing. I've got my own model. We do a major charity VTuber themed event, but it was like, I was like, oh, we could just say VTuber and expect that the other person knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So that things are shifting fast.
No, absolutely. It's crazy to think about now. There's so many words that now, like back then, it was just like how would you even like? You have to be like, how do I describe VTuber? Okay, it's a cartoon, but it displays you.
It's oh, do you remember avatars from like the? Have you played Second Life?
Yeah, just hoping they at least get it. Or it's like, what was it back then when everyone had a Wii? It was like, the me characters you make.
Oh
Imagine
my
that,
god,
but
yeah.
unique.
You big meta fan? Are you jacked into the metaverse? It's just
Finding any outlet to reference it. So what drew you to begin content in the first place, right? Obviously it's done so much for you for not only just activity but also now as like a job. But what was like that kind of beginning for you that was like I want to start making these videos?
was really bored. I was so
Best
just
answer,
got out of
honestly.
yeah, I mean, I was bored. No, I mean it goes in a couple different directions. Like I've always been kind of a theatrically driven person. I loved doing stage performance and music going through school. But then you get to college and like my whole world changed a lot. I think a lot of people they get to college, their world opens up. They're like, oh my god, there's so many new types of people. But I was the kind of person who actually really liked high school.
Hmm.
I liked my core community. I knew, everything. I participated in like every single intramural that I possibly could, whether it was, performing or music or instruments or sports. Like I was like, oh, cool. Like I know all this stuff. Now all of a sudden I'm in this humongous pond. I have no clue what to do. So I was
Yeah.
actually a bit of a shut in, a little antisocial to start. Um, because I was just like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't know any of these people.
Hmm.
I have to start all over, and so I wasn't super social. I was spending a lot of time online. My now wife, girlfriend at the time, like we would just talk on Skype or whatever. Another forbidden word showing my age. I think it, I think it literally shuts down. It was either the end. It was one of the M months. It was either
I'm
March,
pretty
so
sure
maybe
it's
it's already
May.
dead,
I think it's
or
the
it's
I
May.
think it's
Yeah,
the early
May.
May. Because I
Yeah.
know I
Rest in
think
peace, Skype.
what was it? I think isn't Kick also shutting down? Shout out to those who remember Kick.
Kick shutting down. This is news to me.
I swear I remember seeing
No,
something where it's like either that or it's like something about bankruptcy, something where they just like are having trouble
oh
keeping that
shit.
app up. But yes,
Well,
Skype and Kick, I remember those.
I know the Microsoft one died. Oh, I can't even think of it right now. That's I guess it says a lot that I can't think of the name of it. Mixer. Mixer. Yeah.
Oh wow, I forgot
Um.
about that. Yes.
So Skype
But
back
yeah.
in the day, we would just talk all the time, and it was that age where I think the idea of the YouTuber was just becoming a thing.
Hmm.
Um, some of the names still exist. Some of them are dead names now. But like for me, it was Rhett and Link, who I actually think
Hmm.
still do a lot of content. They do more of like a daily podcast thing, but they did a lot of funny like music style videos. Um, Vloggers were just becoming a thing. There were news shows like uh, Phil DeFranco, who went
Hmm.
by the very embarrassing name Sexy Phil at the time. Um, but there were not a lot of people that did video games. There was basically one, and that was the angry video game nerd, who I was super obsessed with. So that was somebody that I watched. I don't know if you're familiar at all.
Yes, I am. My older
In my
brother
in
watched
my
him all the
mind,
time.
in my mind, everybody knows him, but it's definitely not like that anymore. And
Yeah.
I'm sure if I go back, I bet a lot of that stuff has not aged particularly well. But for its era, it was like, I mean, the guy James was putting in a lot of effort, like making this like high effort scripted show talking about games. He mostly talked about bad games, but it was entertaining. There wasn't a lot of regular gaming content, and I was obsessed at the time with the Pokemon trading card game. I was playing it competitively. I'm trying to think timeline wise. I just got like a world championships invite, but I hadn't had any like huge wins. I had like good performances, like top fours, top 16s, whatever,
Hmm.
at state championships. But I was like just starting to become a name in the scene. And I realized, like, one, I'm watching YouTubers all the time. So I'm fascinated with the idea of trying to become one or like
Hmm.
trying to make regular content. Two, I saw this void that didn't exist. Nobody is talking about the Pokemon trading card game specifically.
Hmm.
Even today, things have changed a lot, but even today, most people still who are familiar with Pokemon trading cards, I've got them around here. People who are familiar with the cards, most of them still just collect it and they
Yeah.
don't play the game. So that was sort of my goal was to create more familiarity with it, give people advice, etc. There was just none of that online. So there's a combination of like, hey, I'm bored and lonely. I have nothing better to do with my time, but I want to develop a skill, maybe meet some people online by just like sharing this thing that I'm super passionate about. And so a lot of people are not aware of this, which is crazy to me. But like my first 100 videos are just Pokemon trading card game.
Oh wow.
Just yeah, like front to back. I had a show. It's called Prof It. It's pretty brutal. It's PROF dash IT. The prof is short for professor. I I
I
clearly
give you
learned to
props
play
for innovation.
it was like I went with the first idea that came into my head and then did like no beta testing. I didn't ask anybody if it was a good idea or not. I just ran with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, ran profit forever. Um, I continued to get a lot better at the Pokemon trading card game, which the two went hand in hand. I had a really good World Championships run, and so that was kind of my life for throughout most of college. But as I got to the end of it, I started to become a little less obsessed with just the Pokemon trading card game.
Hmm.
It takes an insane amount of time to stay relevant in the game. You have to keep buying the new cards. You have to travel constantly. I think that's one of the absolute hardest things is there wasn't a quality online client at all. Even now, most of the tournaments aren't online.
Hmm.
Um, but just all the travel, all the purchasing, etc. I was getting a little burnt out on it, and I realized, wait a second, I can make videos about other things that I like that are similar to this, and I bet my audience will still enjoy it. You know, like if I would dip my toes into the water. I'm talking about Pokemon all the time. Will they watch a Pokemon video? Oh, it turns out yes. You know, I
Hmm.
think my very first one it was Imakuni. Are you familiar with Imakuni?
I don't believe so now.
I, I don't even know where to begin on this, but it was at the time a he's like an entertainer and presenter in Japan for the Pokemon cards,
Okay.
and he's already like even with it by Japan standards, he's sort of known as being this weird, quirky dude. He sings songs. He is like self-deprecating, and
Oh wait, he's the guy who has like his
um.
own card where he's like doing like a jazz hands, I
Okay, see,
think, right? Yeah.
did you just look this up, or are you aware? See,
No, because I
okay,
because
so
I
yeah,
I've been collecting cards for like
there
okay,
you go.
collecting Pokemon
Yeah,
cards. Let me say
exactly.
collecting Pokemon cards for years since I was like a little kid, and I
Yeah, so you know it.
remember.
You know him, Makuni.
Yes, okay,
No,
I completely
see,
forgot that was the name or his name.
that was yeah, that was my first. I called it like Pokemon fact of the day, where I
Hmm.
was just like, hey, I want to talk about this topic that maybe somebody's heard about a little bit and
Yeah.
explain who the heck is this guy. He was most people don't have an Imakuni card. Ironically enough, it is an English card now.
Hmm.
2016 or so.
Yeah, I was about to say because
They
it was when I got
finally
back into
yeah.
collecting cards, I noticed like the people were freaking out about like, oh, like it came over. I'm like, what?
He was he was a playable character or like an opponent you could fight in the trading card game for Game Boy. So
Okay.
it was just like this weird guy. People didn't understand him. His card too, like damages yourself. It you play it and it confuses your own Pokemon, and that's the effect. Or I actually have an English copy here of Imakuni's Doduo. The power, for example, is when this card retreats, hold this card and throw it as hard as you can because Doduo is running away. Throw the card horizontally with a snap to get the farthest distance. Like, I always thought
Wow.
that was the funniest thing in the world, you know, when I was a kid.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's still kind of funny now.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess I'm good. Apparently, I'm going to be rambling through your whole show. I'll try and keep things a little more brief for you guys, but yeah, I was really obsessed with the thing, and I saw that nobody else online was talking about it. So I wanted to jump in, start talking about it. And over time, I realized like when I ran out of either passion for the subject or things to talk about, I became more comfortable with like, wait a second, I can talk about all the things I care about. It doesn't just have to be this one game that I'm really good at. It could be all the games I played in my childhood and all the things that I've been interested in. Mostly we still keep it, you know, 90-95% in the Nintendo sphere because that
Yeah.
is, you know, the thing. But what a lot of people don't know about me is I play literally every genre of game. I'm not kidding when I say that. I mean every genre. I
Hmm.
play on every console. My first console wasn't even a Nintendo console. My first console was a Sega Genesis. So even though I've sort of been like pigeonholed into this like you're the Nintendo guy, or for a lot of people, I will always only be the Pokemon guy.
Hmm.
Um, in my own personal life, like I'm just the gamer guy. I'm obsessed with every game, every console. I love it all. So it is nice over time. I think I'm jumping ahead one of your questions. I love just being able to talk about the things that I love. It doesn't even have to be a video game. Could be other. I've done like board game reviews, and that's been a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Every once in a while, I'll just do life advice or crafting or something. But um, I think at the end of the day, I'm proud that I can sort of just put myself out on into the world. I say on a page, but you know what I mean, on a screen,
Hmm.
and just
Yeah, yeah.
it's cool that like I think that that's my number one advice for anybody who wants to make content is just make something that you're passionate about. Like, and I think that people will even if you're not gonna blow up or whatever, not everybody gets to blow up. It's way too hard for everybody to become the next viral sensation. But you will find other people that to connect with who care about the thing that you care about, and then you build community and you can have fun while doing something that maybe gets to support yourself a little bit, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's also pretty. That's really great advice because I feel like a lot of people just don't know really where to start when it comes to their content. They try to be, um, they try to
Oh yeah,
roll with the whatever's trending, especially with
what's the
TikTok.
popular
Yeah.
what's the oh man, I can't give this is like my biggest weakness is I don't use TikTok, so
Hmm.
I don't know any advice. Like that's a hard thing for me. It's actually a weakness for me professionally.
Hmm.
I've done a lot of my work in content marketing, and a lot of my strength over the years has been my knowledge of the platforms like Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah.
Total TikTok newbie. I think the hardest thing for me is that I find the platform unbearable.
Hmm.
And I like not just the like it's not the comedy or whatever. My wife, who is addicted to TikTok, will send me funny stuff all the time. I'm like, oh, cool, great content, or like, oh, that was very educational. It's the like getting constant snippets of like 5, 10, 20 seconds of information just
Yeah.
bursting into my eyes. I I don't know if it's an ADHD thing. It goes both ways. I know
Hmm.
ADHD people that are like, no, this is like my brain crack. I just hyperfixate on it.
Yeah.
Or they're like, for me, it just bounces off of me. Like, I'm like, I cannot focus. This is overwhelming.
Yeah. It could
But
be
yeah,
too
so
much.
like I learned short form content a little bit, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like people like to follow. Like, do I follow a trend? Do I
Hmm.
make my own thing?
Yeah.
How high quality do I make it, etc. And to be honest, it really depends on what you want to get out of it. Like if you are only focused on making money, there are probably steps that you can take to do things that you're not passionate about. And most of the time I've decided to not take that path. Arguably, sometimes I regret it. Yeah, I've turned down like tons and tons of sponsorship money for years before I realized, like, wait, this is probably something that could help support me.
Hmm.
People's attitudes towards stuff have changed, but at the end of the day, even if my pocketbook is a little more empty than I would like it to be, raising the family and such, I can at
Yeah.
least say I've remained like 99.5% true to my values, and I'm proud of that. I think that if you want to make content to like build a community though and make friends, which is kind of where I started,
Hmm.
people weren't doing this full time. Money wasn't even in my brain when I started. That's what I recommend is just using it as like a social tool. You can build community, which can build connections, which can build people that are sharing skills, which could lead to something like jobs,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
but it's a little different. The hustle's different, and
Yeah.
that I have a little bit less experience with. How do I get big quick? How do I build an audience right away so that I can get that sweet ad money, aka pennies? I'm a little fuzzier on that one. I'm just a guy that did the things that he loved and studied how to make his stuff better and got insanely lucky.
Yeah, I mean, there's more fish in the pond now, right? That's probably the best expression that I've heard, the way to
Like
say it.
more doesn't even begin to describe it. I'm trying to remember. So
It's a dump
I
truck
remember
load
a
that just got, or when they airdrop fish into different parts of the ocean. It's
so
just,
there was a stat. I don't remember the exact number, but I think when I was peaking, around 2012, 2013,
Mhm.
I had something like I was like somewhere in like maybe the number 600 to number 1000 range in terms of like most subscribers. Like it
Mhm.
was a four digit most subscribed channel, and
Hmm.
now it's probably like a 6 digit or something. Like I don't even know. Would something like Social Blade tell me that? Let's find out.
I feel like it would. I have wow, I haven't used Social Blade in ages. I remember checking those things when there
Yeah.
was like those like content creator quote unquote wars. It's like, oh, who's gonna beat
Oh,
this number
sure,
out?
sure. So oh wait, no, no, no. This cannot be right. Oh, okay, okay. It's weird the way that they write it. It says that there are about 40,000 channels that have more subscribers than me. So at the time, it was the pond was much, much, much smaller.
Yeah.
I mean, it's changed too, though. Everybody can make content everywhere.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, using
I
anything
grew up.
really.
We didn't have smartphones, so you had to have some like knowledge of how to use a camera.
Hmm.
I went to school for media studies and cinema, so I was working like with the traditional setups. I still like even here talking with you. I'm like, ooh, let me make sure I got my 3-point lighting correct.
Yeah.
For my interview. Everything's changed now though. You can just point your phone at something, boom, you're ready to go. The lighting's great, the focus is great. Um, so yeah, it has changed a ton.
Yeah, I mean, and that's honestly it's a blessing and a curse for it because now it's like back then it was like if you put in a lot of effort for your content, it's still now right. You put in a lot of effort, you can see some good changes, good responses to it, but also like, with the constant changing forms of social media now, right? Of course, like with just the apps like TikTok or Instagram with their Reels or YouTube Shorts, everyone's been hyper focused. I feel like on short form content, and I feel like the
Mhm.
the realm of long form content has been a little bit left behind because everyone's just getting used to that rhythm that TikTok in a sense brought over, right? And that's what
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people don't miss out on the opportunity of. It's like, hey, like you know what, why not give long form content a try?
Yeah, I get it, right? Oh, hey, if I can take this like big long story and cram it down into 60 seconds, like I see the appeal for sure.
Hmm.
It's like getting it all at once is tough for me, but when people send it to me, I'm like, oh yeah, that was interesting. That was quick. That
Yeah.
was stimulating. I do think long form definitely is seeing somewhat of a resurgence, but it has also moved in different directions.
Hmm.
Ironically, the podcast is like a major format for people.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Podcasting is still huge for sure.
Hmm.
I still to this day like I'm a big listener to podcasts, but usually more on like the educational side versus like pure entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm a big like This American Life or Radio Lab was a big one. A lot of their main hosts have changed for a while. The What is it? 99% Invisible. Like I love learning more things in like that like osmosis sense.
Yeah.
But I think I'm seeing more and more YouTube content creators that are going for like not just the long form, but like the cyber long form, like 4 hour videos. It's even
Yeah.
for me, long form used to be, oh my God, I made a 20-minute video. Will anybody watch this thing all the way through?
Yeah.
My wife will pass me something where it's like, this dude's like, I watched every episode of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. It's 4 hours long. I watched it. It was amazing. you know I'm low key like kind of doing something like that right now
Hmm.
with my current hyperfixation, which is the Ace Attorney games. We'll see if
Okay.
it ever becomes a thing or not, but I think for now like I'm in that place where I'm like, you know what, like I don't this could get 0 views, but it's what's inside of me and it's what I need to put out there into the world.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. What would you say your favorite video or series you've made throughout your content career has been, since we're on the topic of, making this content?
favorite so my general rule of thumb for me when I
Hmm.
think of like what's the best stuff that I put out is I like to make videos where I learn something in making the video versus just
Okay.
saying something that I know.
Yeah.
I also really like videos where I get to touch on like more than one media source. I'm obsessed with videos where I get to talk about like ooh, I get to talk about the manga and the anime and the video games and the board games all in one. Um, the first video that I made that I felt like really, I was like, wow, I'm proud of this. I had to dig so deep. It was called The Many Faces of Mewtwo. It's
Okay.
probably aged a little bit by now. But it was just like that, where I was like, hey, I want to just make a video talking about Mewtwo and only Mewtwo. And I got to talk about it in, in the manga, in the trading card game, in the video games, and uncovering all those little bits of lore. That was a lot of fun. My number one video, though, if I tell somebody like you can only watch one Jwittz video,
Yeah.
it's called "Pushing a Button for Shiny Pokemon," something like that.
Oh, yeah, I think
And
your
the
thumbnail is like the water bird.
exactly, yep,
Yes,
that's the
yes, I remember
one.
that video. Yes.
So yeah, yeah, that video, that one I got to learn a lot, but it was like I learned how to code. I learned how to build a
Oh, okay.
Raspberry Pi device. I learned how to solder for the first time. I took the
Yeah.
Joy-Con apart and, you know, um, soldered the wires. Apologies.
No worries.
So that's my favorite video. I also like. I watched it again today. I just think it's very entertaining. That one's my number one for sure. Um, I also do got to give a shout out to like the one recurring series that I'll still do, even though I do think it's a little dated. I can't help but have a soft spot for it, and it's
Hmm.
the videos like weird, creepy Pokedex entries.
Oh, yes.
At the time, it was somewhat novel to like talk about that stuff because a lot of people were just pressing A and mashing through the Pokedex
Yeah.
entries, and there weren't as many robust online resources as there are today.
Hmm.
So it feels like a little dated, like I feel like it was like my era of the edgy kid game lore,
Hmm.
which would then go to something like Five Nights at Freddy's or like whatever. Each new generation is going to get their own like little thing where they can dig up the cool creepy lore. Splatoon even has some of that too.
Yeah.
Um, but at the time, I had a lot of fun with it, and now it's like I'm in this deep. I might as well go. I actually shout outs to my friend Kirby. He just sent me one like yesterday. Like people will still just send me like, "Hey, did you read this Pokedex entry? This one's from Gothitell. It gazes at the stars to predict the future. It acts somewhat detached because it has seen the end of all existence." Like that's existential
I
thoughts from
love.
my
I'm gonna
friend.
say. I feel like I was in the. I feel like I was in the video right there for a second.
Yeah, I haven't covered that one before. That's fun.
That's
For
so
all my
cool,
homies
though.
out there who have watched Slaughterhouse Five or Red Slaughterhouse Five, it's just like the aliens in that. Anyways, yeah. So I love that series. I love like taking Pokemon too seriously,
Hmm.
but sometimes Pokemon likes to take Pokemon too seriously.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Where it's gotten strange though is like I started that series and I've been doing it for over 10 years, and now like the official Pokemon channel does it like every Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
They they have like interchangeable content creators or whatever, and it's
Hmm.
like I'm not gonna sit here and say I invented reading Pokemon Pokedex entries, but it is funny like they've realized that there's value in that content
Yeah.
um, that I've been doing for so long. So that's a big one. I could go on and on about my favorites, but I would say like that's my favorite core.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
I also like there was another one. Like right up along that side, the Pokemon Master Trainer board game. That's always one of my favorites to recommend to people. Just taking a kid's board game from the early 2000s, taking it way too seriously. And a lot of my videos, like talking about some of the OG lore in the Yu-Gi-Oh games, I think are really good. I think those ones too. They're like the mix of I think this is good content, but also I made them closer to the year like 2020, so the production value is not completely garbage. Um, I think that's the hardest thing about my content. Like, if you ever really just you want to feel better about yourself by watching someone else do a really embarrassing thing, to get that like Schadenfreude feeling,
Hmm.
just watch my oldest videos. I mean, it's just an abomination. The humor is horrible. The quality is terrible. It truly is a wonder that I'm here where I am today. You could get away with being significantly cringier back then than you can now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I honestly looking back at like older content creators, I do it for my with myself sometimes, or I'll share it with some friends, be like, "Hey, you guys want to watch like what I this video I made when I was like 15 and thought I knew everything about content
Oh,
creation?"
oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I didn't. I certainly, and things have changed too. When I was putting stuff out on the internet, I didn't think that it'd still be out there for people to watch all these years later.
Hmm.
15, 16, 17 years later. um,
And growing.
but and I've decided to keep it up. I thought about like, should I delete my old terrible content? But I like to have it out there just so that people know, your first content doesn't have to be perfect.
Hmm.
If you put yourself out there, you can always like refine and learn. I think if nothing else, like I was mentioning earlier, I think my passion for the stuff I was talking about still shone through to people, even if the everything was bad. The
Yeah.
the visuals, the performance, etc. I think authenticity is just has value.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And also like there's the uniqueness, right? That there's that want that people have when it comes to just wanting to see something that's not a carbon copy of all these other content creators where, you don't have the person yelling in your face about something crazy they did. It's like they have their own unique voice to it, their own unique personality they bring forward, and makes them entertaining to watch.
Oh yeah, I would like the no. I will say like as far as modern advice goes, that one of the biggest things us in the industry say is like, please don't try and be the next Mr. Beast. Like
Yeah.
if you aren't him and you don't see things the way that he does, like sure what he's doing is incredibly successful, but like if you aren't Mr. Beast and you are trying to emulate what's working for him, it's almost always seen as like absurdly inauthentic, like
Yeah.
because it's just um, that's that's just his thing. I shouldn't say it's just his thing, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, he's been able to really capitalize on it the way he does.
sure, yeah. I mean, and I think even for him, like he's the kind of person who's like incredibly like work focused, and he always did want to be famous,
Hmm.
but he was doing that type of speaking style and mannerisms 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's I, I would say just like borrow the things that you like about people's like format, or like their speaking, like I should say their cadence, but like you can watch someone's like video formatting, be like, oh, okay, like I liked the way that they broke that storyline apart or whatever, and grow from it. The same way like I started and I was like, oh, I like what the angry video game nerd's doing. But I think over time finding your own voice is super important.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It makes it who you are. So we did go over your favorite content or videos you've enjoyed the most making. What about your least favorite? Whatever, was there ever a video or a series that you made that you absolutely just like did not
Hmm.
enjoy making?
I've got least favorite's tough because it's like I don't know. Most of the stuff I put out, I tried to put out with purpose. I would say
Yeah.
some stuff were swing and a miss though, for sure. Um, Back when I was this video, I actually loved making. I think it's a good video, but I remember it being so particularly crushing. Back when I was between jobs, there are times where I've been able to do content creation full time, and it supported me well. Like
Hmm.
I've never been like a mansion owner, a big car owner, but it's been a job that has at times been able to give me like a six-figure salary, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
At least for me. Um, but that started to slip, and I was desperately clinging on to like, okay, well, how can I make enough money? I most people don't have the problem where like each year they're making less money. So
Hmm.
I did start to get more obsessed with the numbers and how to keep things up. And I made this challenge video where I went through the process of me learning how to get a star in Mario 64 blindfolded,
Hmm.
which blindfold running, the scene has just absolutely exploded. The things that people can do with that game now are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
But at the time, I put in a lot of effort. I tried to show my process. I was like really proud of it. And I don't know what happened that day. Like the content was bad, the thumbnail was bad, the title was bad. something about it, I don't know, you start to get superstitious when you've uploaded content as long as I have, where you're
Mhm.
like, this didn't even get pushed to feeds. Like something went wrong with this video because it just bombed.
Yeah.
I think even to this day, I mean, like for me, my average view, like to me, a successful video at the time was like at least hitting 200,000 views. And this
Mhm.
thing was stuck at 70,000 views for like a year. It was like, it really stood out like a sore thumb. And
Yeah.
at the time, I was more obsessed with numbers. Today, I wouldn't care. I could make a video that gets 70,000 views. I could make a video that gets 500 views if people liked it. Like that's great for me. Oh wow, it's actually pretty recent. um, it's only my 13th youngest video. Um, no, no, look at that. It's still stuck there. It's still stuck at 68,000 views. I don't know what happened to this video. People hated it. It didn't work, etc. I did have a sponsorship tacked onto that one, and the company like literally came and complained. They were like, "This video didn't get good views, so we're mad at you." And I was like, "Okay, but you didn't put in." Some companies will put like in the contract, like we'll pay you X if you get X Y views.
Mhm.
There was nothing like that in the contract. Like I didn't do anything wrong. I
Yeah.
was like, listen, I was trying to emulate the success of a different Mario 64 challenge that I did that got a million views. So that video like was like a dark place for me where I was like, oh my god, like I can't do this anymore. I can't play the numbers game all the time. I just
Yeah.
need to make the videos that I care about, and if it doesn't succeed full time, it doesn't. Um, as far as like actually making a video though that I didn't like, I got two more for you. One
Okay.
is Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came out.
Mhm.
Um, and or maybe it was just Sun and Moon. I want to say it was Ultra. Um, no, yeah, it was just Sun and Moon, not
Okay.
Ultra. And I was like, it's been a while since I've done like a real traditional Let's Play. I want to do a Let's Play of this. And I was mostly dedicated to long form content. So I'm looking at the video now. This was 34 videos of dedicated uploads, and some of them were an hour long. And i- as I was uploading it, like each day, I learned that the game for Let's Plays had changed a lot.
Mhm.
Like I was like old because I was making them the old way. People like played the whole game and they dumped the whole playthrough by like day two of the game being out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here uploading. I think I did like, I don't know, 3 uploads a week. Maybe I did every weekday. I started to get more desperate. Toward the end of the series, I think you can really start seeing my fatigue. I even talk about it as I was recording it. Like, I learned a lot in making this. Like, I tried to commit to this like long form thing, and I was unfamiliar with your game. Like, I didn't know that people just pump and dump it, and on
Yeah.
top of that, like playing a whole game start to finish, that's like any JRPG, like that's a big commitment. And I think this was also, I was working at Twitch and I was like, literally, oh my god, that's funny. The literal next video after my Sun finale is me saying like, "Hey, I'm focusing on YouTube and Twitch." So I literally at that time I was like, this would have been way better as a live stream.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
when you're doing a Let's Play by yourself, you're locked in the room with you, so
Yep.
you have to sit there and stay entertaining. Whereas now, you can get locked in the room with dozens of other people who can. I mean, all it takes is like one active commenter to keep you going at a stream. I feel like
Yep.
where you're just like, oh my god, I have somebody to talk to, somebody to share my nonsense with. So yeah, that was like right. Oh wow, I'm getting nostalgic like looking at this. My next video after that is the Nintendo Switch launch stream. This is like that era was just starting to come out.
Yes.
Yeah, things changed a lot. Final regret is sometimes I would have to stoop to like making a dedicated sponsored video.
Mhm.
I never ever wanted to do that. Some of them are good, some of them are not. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. I mean, I didn't do a lot. There's less than
Mhm.
10.
Yeah.
And I can tell you there were good ones. I got like paid for dedicated videos to make a couple about the Ubisoft Mario plus Rabbids game.
Okay.
That game that game was awesome. Those videos got great viewership. That was like, to me, like free money. I was like,
Hmm.
oh, this is great. Like I love this game.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever made a dedicated ad for a game that I didn't like. You won't find like a dedicated like Jwittz plays Raid Shadow Legends or whatever. I've
Yeah.
done the cutaway, the 30-second this video is brought to you by, everybody does that.
Yeah.
We've sort of accepted it, but every once in a while, I think I just accepted one where I was like, man, like if I look back at it, like if I deleted this video, no one would miss it.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of them, but yeah, those are my only real regrets. But otherwise, it's like, hey, I think I put out a lot of quality stuff. Didn't always get great viewership. It might not be super watchable today, but I had fun making it at the time. I feel like that's got to be worth something.
Absolutely. I mean it's like sometimes I feel like watching like YouTubers people used to watch, right? Maybe like over time, life's caught up to them. They can't really watch their favorite YouTubers anymore and they want to like relive it. It's like watching an old movie or, a TV show from when you were younger. It's like, "Oh, I remember this video. Like, let me turn that
Oh,
on."
sure.
And you're just reliving that moment.
Dude, yeah, I can't relate to that, just in the sense like I didn't have YouTube as a kid.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
God, do I get it a lot where people are just like, "Oh my God, I watched you so much. I grew up on you."
Mhm.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
"What do you mean?" They're like, "Oh, I've been watching you since I was 8 and I just had my first kid." Doing the math, I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I guess you had your first kid at 22 or whatever." It's just weird that you like I can't comprehend it. So,
Yeah. No,
so it's
absolutely.
but yeah, a lot of people, I know a few people that they'll go back and they'll watch like, so not even my main channel. I used to have a dedicated Let's Play channel
Mhm.
where I played non-Nintendo stuff, or
Mhm.
mostly non-Nintendo stuff. It's called Wits Gaming.
Okay.
And I think the channel still exists. Probably doesn't. I'm actually curious. I haven't been to Wits Gaming in a while. That's a graveyard. One sec. But I know people who will like go back and watch my Spelunky playthrough on Wits Gaming every year,
Mhm.
and I'm like, really? Like, but they're like, yeah, that's what I grew up with. That's classic. My last Wits Gaming upload was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
That's wild. But yeah, that does. It was mostly Spelunky. It was like Spelunky all the way down. Incredible game. There's actually a lot less Wits Gaming than I remember. Funny. Anyway, yeah, there's people that they gravitated to that. So it's like even my worst videos or like my oldest stuff, I still keep it up. I will say at the very least, I am proud that like going back to my videos, I don't think I've ever said anything like so like offensive or racist or homophobic. Like I've
Mhm.
never had to go back and be like, I got to get rid of that. I was a bad person back then. Like
Yeah.
I, I'm sure that pe- pe- people can change. You make
Mhm.
content over 15 years. I'm gonna excuse if you said something bad 15 years ago and you've learned and changed. But I am proud that like at least when I go back to watch my old videos, it's just because I'm a cringy little guy, um, versus me like saying like horrific monstrous stuff. So
Yeah. No, absolutely.
there's that.
It's always stayed true. All right. So you've showcased a few videos in regards to shiny Pokemon. And of course, most recently, I feel like one that, a lot of people have maybe seen and resonate with is your shiny Manaphy video.
Oh yeah, my newest one. I say
Yes.
newest coming up. I mean, I'm at
Coming up on a year
the
almost,
stage of
I
my life.
think.
I'm at the stage of my life where I'm getting like one or two videos out a year. That's just
Hmm.
how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I like. I shouldn't say never. Like I've said to other people, like, let's say it's a weird economy right now. If for some reason I lose my job, plan one besides like being on a regular job hunt is like, yeah, I guess I'll be full-time content creating. Like I'll do.
Yeah.
It's different now that I'm a dad. I will do whatever it takes. I
Hmm.
will make whatever dollar I can, to make sure that my son gets to live a comfortable life.
Yeah.
But um, that is the last video I made, and that one took a long time. I think that's a banger video.
Oh, I loved it.
Sorry, you were talking about shinies.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, in general, like I think I've like I'm down to dwell more into like the efforts of making videos like that. But yeah, so shiny. Any recent shinies you've been on the hunt for lately? Out of curiosity. Because you made a couple shiny
So
videos, so I have to say you have some interest in
oh, a
it.
lot. Oh
That's how I
yeah.
actually discovered you way back in when I was younger. Was I think it was up to Gen. I think it was how to shiny hunt in X and Y, and the thumbnail
Oh
is of a
yeah.
shiny Fennekin being hatched.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was so interested in shiny hunting.
Hmm.
My wife too, actually, even more so than me. I don't know if you're familiar with her at all.
I think
She's
I've
just just
tuned into her Twitch streams a couple times back when I was on a huge Twitch grind when I was younger, being
oh
like
yeah.
finding all these creators
She
to shiny
was
hunt with.
much larger Twitch creator. Yeah, she streamed all the time, and then there was long long periods where it was like 90% of what she did.
Hmm.
I did a lot of shiny hunting too. But yeah, we both were really interested in this older content creator who's been like retired for a long time.
Hmm.
But he's called he may have been the just like the Jwittz. His name was Justin Flynn. Maybe it was the
Oh
Justin Flynn.
yes, yeah. I remember
But yeah.
he made like a website where you could like
Oh yeah, yep.
track shiny hunting through the methods of
Yeah,
like
he was
fish
all about
chaining and
the
all that.
he's all about fish chaining and like the radar hunting and stuff.
Yes, yep. I remember finding
So
him
they yeah,
too.
they so yeah, he was like one of the first people I saw out of that. Obviously, other content creators like I know A Drive is like a very big one.
Hmm.
Start there and then grew out of it. But there was a long period of time where people could just shiny hunt. I shouldn't even say could. There's still ones today. Like Dallas was RK9. Oh, my brain is just totally
Yeah,
fried right
Arcanine, you
now.
have Absol. What is his full thing?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did a collaboration stream together for Gamers Outreach. They like the full odds hunting a lot.
Yes.
Where
Yep.
people are like, shiny hunting's too easy. I got to go back to the way it was
Yeah.
pure
Give
and
me the
slow and agonizing.
8192. Give me the harder things.
Supreme RK9s, by the way.
That
I'm
was
so
it.
sorry,
Yes.
Dallas. I couldn't. But yeah, so shiny hunting. Am I doing shiny hunting now? Sort of. You know what? My first ever shiny hunt with my son was a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
He got the craving to play Let's Go Pikachu.
Okay.
And he's like, so he's almost 4 now,
Hmm.
and he's not super interested in video games.
Okay.
He every once in a while he'll find one that he really likes and he watches with me every time I play it, and it's very rare. Astrobot is like his favorite game in the world. He loved watching that top to bottom. But Pokemon he'll watch a little bit.
Hmm.
Um and the great thing about Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is that you can hand that second Joy-Con to a rock and they can play it. Because the second player gets to run around. They don't have to do any button confirmations. They
Yep.
can't start any encounters. They can run into other Pokemon and freeze them. And when it comes time to catch Pokemon, you can both throw your Joy-Con together and do combo throws, etc.
Yeah.
That game is notoriously easy to shiny hunt in. The
Hmm.
spawn rate, you get 30, 40 Pokemon all on the screen at the same time. Um, so even with like no shiny hunt, maximizing the method, we shiny hunted for Weedle and we got him a shiny Weedle. So I did do
Nice.
that. I don't have like a hunt specifically that I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, I really want to do that. Um, I'm always hopeful that I will pull a shiny Pokemon in the there's a new set that just came out for the TCG
Oh
Pocket.
yes. Well, I just
Yeah.
opened my two
Wait,
packs early. I hit
here,
my
wait.
my hour limit, so I
I
was
think
like,
here,
I gotta
wait.
open them.
I think I got pack number 2. Let me go live here.
Oh, let's go.
Let me I've only pulled one shiny in the new set. They're like notoriously rare.
Oh
I
yeah.
also just on principle, I do not spend money in this game, so
Agreed.
I'm like
I'm right there with you.
suffering the free to play lifestyle. You can get most of the playable cards. Here you go, fam. Oh, I got that stupid like blur thing on my webcam right now. Let's mess with the focus here. Is there anything You know what? It's not even gonna let me. I'm sorry, fam.
It's okay.
Uh,
We can take your word if you can pull anything
I'll tell
amazing.
you. Yeah, see what it's doing here?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Nope. Nope. Magmar. Nope. Nope. Oh. Oh.
Oh,
Is it a Meowscarade? I think it's a
I think it
Meowscarade.
is. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
still a good cool
Or
pull.
Meowscarada. This is a meta card right now for anybody who plays this game competitively.
My friend plays
It's
it
good.
like every day competitively, so he'll be excited to see that you pulled that.
They just dropped ranked, so
Oh,
but
really?
I can only get into it like a little bit because it's not. I'm a big OG TCG guy.
Hmm.
It's very RNG dependent. It's also very quick. It's like the TikTok of Pokemon games, where like
Yeah.
each game is 5 minutes long, but there's really heavy RNG. So it's like
Hmm.
I can't take it too seriously, but I'll play it enough to like win games.
Yeah.
Meowscarada is good. Anyway, that's my shiny hunting right now. My wife is playing. She just started a new save file of Arceus, so she's
Okay.
going through that. I loved Arceus. My favorite Pokemon game in the last 10 years. I'm a little less excited by what I've seen from the new Legends game,
Yeah, from ZA.
um, just because I'm so obsessed with Arceus and it looks more like Scarlet Violet than Arceus to me.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I still won't go in and hunt something. I do that.
Absolutely.
And even though I do get burned pretty bad on Manaphy, who ironically they just released like an official shiny that you can get. Um, I kind of wanted to make like a Fallout video or something. I never really got around to it.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can like fill up your whole decks and get a free one or
Yeah,
whatever.
through Pokemon
That's not
Home.
the point
Yeah.
though. The point is the hunt, right?
Yeah. It's the
um
journey. The journey.
kind of, yeah. The problem is that the journey for Manaphy specifically sucks.
Yeah.
Um I don't want to like it. I like shiny hunting where I can like do it and watch TV at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't have the time to spend 1,000 hours to a meaningless task. Like I just don't.
Hmm.
So I say to the people who are playing competitive games, oh, it's not meaningless, right?
Yeah.
And shiny hunting to me, it's like I'm not learning anything. I'm not
Hmm.
growing.
Yeah, you're just looking
Um,
for different pixels.
so no, I don't want like 4DSs like tapping around. Like that's just not fun. If I was
Hmm.
streaming it, maybe, because then at least I got people to chat with.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure though someday, like I don't know if I'm a holy grail shiny hunter anymore, but anytime there's new Pokemon, sometimes there's just a form where I'm like, damn, I need to have that. Um, like I remember like Phalanx, I was like, that is a cool looking shiny. I need that. I want that. Shiny Wooloo, gotta have it.
Yes.
That was a whole debacle for me.
I
So
remember that. I remember your video about it.
that was fun. That was fun. That was full odds, and even then, baby full odds. It's not like the old games, right?
Yeah, yeah, but now you're over 8,000.
For sure.
All right, so we'll switch gears a little bit here. Um, you've made content previously, of course, about Splatoon. You've mentioned it before, especially with the lore of Splatoon 3. What drew
Oh
you to
yeah, this
Splatoon?
is a Splatoon show, right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
So what
So what
what
drew
drew
you
me?
to Splatoon overall, right? 'Cause before we were
Yeah.
talking before we started that you said you started in Splatoon 1. So like what kind of drew you to
Oh
that
yeah,
the franchise of it?
you're telling me you started in Splatoon 2. I'm like, what are you talking about? How can you be such a big like face in Splatoon and not have been there from the beginning? And then I realized, Splatoon's a 10-year-old franchise, and that is still weird to me. Like Splatoon's still new, right? It's like
Hmm.
one of Nintendo's newest like major IPs. Um, I think for me, like just playing Splatoon was kind of all I needed. When I first saw it, I want to say it was E3 2013.
Hmm.
It was either 13 or 14 when it was first announced. And it was kind of like a weak year where like everybody kind of loads up their best announcements for the next year. But there was no like regular Nintendo Direct or Sony Presents or whatever they're calling
Yeah.
it these days. Um, E3 was there every
Hmm.
year. And so Splatoon, I think, was their last announcement. And I saw it and I was like, huh, interesting. Like, I don't think I was ready for like shooter for kids,
Yeah, yeah.
like, yeah, I'm in my early 20s. Like, this isn't for me. But when I first saw the squids jumping through ink, I was like, oh my God, Mario Sunshine. And then it wasn't, so I was like kind of bummed. What's funny is I
Yeah.
think that they had like I forgot in one of the maps or somewhere they hid like the 8-bit like um blooper is like in there somewhere. Like I
Hmm.
think they very 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 lightly acknowledged like, hey, there are also squids in the Nintendo universe.
Yeah.
But so it's on the Wii U, and I mean, let's be real, the Wii U was not exactly like an abundant system of games.
Hmm.
And I'm also at peak Nintendo at this point, like 2014. My content's about as big as possible, so I'm like, I gotta play every game, see if I like it or not.
Yeah.
and they had like an open like beta session. What was it called? Test Ink, Splashdown. There's a word for it, and I'm
Yeah,
missing it for
something
some reason.
unique
But
that related to
yeah,
Splatoon.
exactly, yeah, something like that. Um, Tried the demo and I was like, this game's amazing. Like just immediately, like again, I play every genre, so I'm a big shooter fan, or at least have played other shooters that I've really liked.
Hmm.
And it just felt really unique because one is a third person shooter, which I've always really enjoyed, but like I get from like a shooting perspective, you don't want a character taking up a portion of the screen, which is why most people go to first person. So
Hmm.
if you're going to third person, you got to have like really cool movement, which it did, like at the time, just moving through the ink. So yeah, like for me, it was just playing it to start. And then Splatoon has added a lot to make it extra lovable over the
Hmm.
years. The characters, the lore, like just like the general setting. I mean, originally they were marketing it in like a really like cringy. Have you seen the like "You're a kid now, you're a squid
Yeah,
now"?
yeah. Or
You know, like
the one for Splatoon 3 where it's just a guy yelling splat like 30
yeah,
times.
yeah. So like, I don't know. I mean, in North America, we don't know how to advertise our own games, but in Japan, like
Oh,
that's just
theirs
like
are beautiful. Oh my gosh.
they just embrace. Well, I mean, I think it may literally be like the highest adoption rate. Like in Japan, it might be the number one Switch game, or at the very least,
Hmm.
it's top three. Like Splatoon is Japan; like they are
Yeah.
obsessed with the game. But I think it's because it lines up so well with their culture of sort of like embracing that like wacky nature, and not only that, but obviously like the way it handles like fashion and idols and stuff is very ingrained. It is a very Japanese game, which I think
Hmm.
makes it a lot of fun for me. And then each game they would keep adding new stuff, whether it's like little bits of lore or new game modes. And I've always really enjoyed it. It's got a good feedback loop. Game's fun. What can I say?
Yeah. Well, what out of all three of the games, was there one that you like preferred more than the other? Because I imagine you've obviously played up to three. Um, was
No,
there
I stopped
one?
at two.
I
Yeah, So favorite game? What a hard question. Like
know it's
because
always so tricky,
on
but I love
paper,
asking.
yeah. Oh, sure. So again, this is just like my personal lifestyle arc. On paper, I think it's very obvious that Splatoon 3 is the most feature-rich game.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the best balanced because they've had so much time to really adjust with like you know like weapons and modes. It's got the most modes. It's got the most side stuff.
Hmm.
Um, it has things that people don't even care about that I cared about, like the card game that's in there.
Oh, table turf. Yes.
Yeah, table. Yeah, I was a secret for me. If the game has a card game, I will play it all the way to the end. I don't, you know, Gwent in The Witcher, or oh my god, the one that they had in Final Fantasy VII remake. I was so Queen's Blood. Um, even table turf. I was like, oh, this is so much fun. Playing with like other people that actually know how to play. That was cool. Um, I think that that game just like has the most as far as it all goes. But hour wise, I've probably sunk 5, 6 times more time into Splatoon 2. And that's just because of how much free time I had at the time. Splatoon 3 is in the era of like that's I had a kid, so I'm a father. I don't have the same amount of time to dedicate to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um Lore wise too, for two, I think my favorite like story campaign is two, especially the Octo expansion. I really liked that. So, you know, you put a gun, you put a blaster, put an end zap to my head. I guess I'll say Splatoon 2. But I could tell you things that I enjoyed about all three of the games and like the good eras. Um, and I've played at the very least like the campaigns to the end of all of them. And I've played like the multiplayer up to the point of like where I get to like S or X and then I sort of like hit a wall.
Hmm.
Um, but they're all great games, I think. And I think a good reason for them being great is they're doing everything in their power to like not milk the franchise like
Yeah.
any other successful shooter. And because of that, you do get like if you are someone that's interested in campaigns, which I am a lot, you get all of that plus all of the like the new games and modes. And Splatoon has already been somewhat of a lifestyle game where it's like we're gonna add stuff for the first 2 years or whatever. So they're all good. Two's probably my favorite, softest spot in my heart. But it would also like if you've never played Splatoon before, it would be hard to wholeheartedly recommend two because I feel like
Mhm.
three has the most quality of life stuff.
Yeah.
That said, it was nice in one when I could click on the map to jump, just like straight up, you know.
Yes.
I can't wholeheartedly recommend that we go back to the gamepad era, but like even Splatoon 1 had some stuff where I was like, okay, you know, that was fun. It
Yeah.
was also a lot easier before we added all the apps. It was the
Mhm.
easiest way to like draw, you know, for the um not Miiverse. Well, no, I think was it Miiverse in the first game before Splatoon was like we're just
I
doing
I
Splatnet
think
or
it went to
yeah,
Miiverse and then Splatoon 2 transitioned to Splatnet and 3 followed over
yeah,
for
yeah.
it.
So yeah, that was nice, you know. And each game has its own little chunk of like juicy lore that I always enjoy, where it's like, oh hey, it's the apocalypse, horrible things are happening, and everybody's like laughing and dancing. They've leaned a lot harder into that, but they still like to add little funky things here or there, like the whole story with Lil Judd in
Yes.
the third game. I'm super interested by that. Um, yeah, so good games. They're all good.
Awesome. Do you have any experience when it comes to maybe the competitive side of Splatoon?
So yeah, in a couple of ways. Obviously, through Gamers Outreach, you know, I've been able to watch more of the content that they've had with like Inkling Performance Labs and the Dapple broadcasts. Like they're really great. Um, but as far as like time commitment wise, I would
Hmm.
say I'm more of like I watch the big stuff. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
the a lot of the big things I watched for like the Splatoon World events that they've had over the years, especially the
Hmm.
modern ones. Where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, there's only so many big events. I don't have to dedicate thousands of hours. And again, it's not out of disrespect for it, but just because I'm a father, my time is so limited now.
Yeah.
I
No,
work
exactly.
my job
Absolutely.
and then I work my second job. Do I want to make content? Do I want to watch 1 hour of TV before I go to bed, etc.? So yeah,
Yeah.
watch those. Obviously, follow like really dominant North American teams. There's like Jackpot, Starburst did a lot of cool stuff. There's a competitive content creator that I still watch on Twitch a lot, or
Hmm.
like whenever he's doing stuff. I think he just goes by Dude now,
Oh yes,
but
that
that
SRB2 dude.
that yeah yeah like he's actually like a genuinely really good player too, isn't he? I think like for the
Yes,
European team.
I'm pretty sure he won the last European championship,
Yeah,
so
so
he's still up
like
there.
he he's like who I would live competitive Splatoon vicariously through, just like
Hmm.
watching someone who is high level, and I would watch his guides because I'd be like, oh my god, please help me. Like
Yeah.
there are levels. I did have one brush up with competitive Splatoon, and that was at it was either Evo or Genesis,
Hmm.
a Smash Bros, like an FGC event. But there's
Yeah.
always there's a lot of like crossover from like the FGC and Splatoon. I think like Riptide has like side events. Smash and Splash, I remember had one.
Hmm.
There's a side event, and there was a team that was down a player. I'm really embarrassed that I can't think of the name of the team, but that's just because of my own terrible memory. And they had a Smash Bros player like fill in for one of them, and he was a really good player at the time. I think he's retired now, or like not really a major part of the scene. His name was Foe, and he happened to be like a Splatoon god, or at least for them.
Hmm.
And he was like helping them get through multiple rounds. But then he like had to go to his bracket and Smash, and he couldn't participate in this next event. And they were like, we will take anybody. Does anybody have Splatoon experience? Like, please
Hmm.
help us out.
Yeah.
I meekly raised my hand. I was like, I hit X rank, which if you've played competitive Splatoon, there's layers, right?
Yeah.
There's levels. There's like, I can beat like all my friends in Splatoon, but that means nothing compared to real competitive Splatoon, right?
Yeah.
And so I really got my eyes opened to the levels. For one, I mean, like, the level of comms that each player had, they're yelling instructions all at the same time. And I was like, oh my God, I have no clue what I'm doing. They're like, fall back, fall back. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm in a good spot. They're like, no, we need this positioning. Like
Yeah.
needless to say, we got our ass beat, but and it was probably my fault. But I learned a lot that day. Like I didn't expect to come in and be their hero or whatever, but I
Hmm.
figured I could like be serviceable. And I was like, oh wow, like you really are only as good as your weakest link, and also just like the level of strategy that I had not even considered as far as like map knowledge and which weapon goes where and when to use it.
Hmm.
And I thought it was wild. So yeah, I have always enjoyed watching it. I watched the big stuff. And oh my God, did I love watching the charity event that you guys ran? That was really fun. There was a bracket reset, but I'm always like, okay, well, let me know what the good stuff is. Tell me where to go, and I'll watch it in my free time. There's just so much less of it than there used to be.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Especially when it comes to like, those official casts or like that you mentioned with Worlds with like Nintendo or their qualifiers. And
Sure.
nowadays, like to give you a little insight now, it's like there's so many tournaments now that held out through people in the scene because obviously people love to try their own, and there's been a player named Sendu who has created his own website that people actually start using
Oh,
about for to
I
make their tournaments.
Sendu is amazing.
Yeah.
I've actually been. I saw actually the badge that you guys made for Gamers Outreach. I just saw that today. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like you guys,
Yes.
you got the custom badges and the brackets and the setup. Like I know that is such an overused term for like uh scenes that are supported by the players. People like to use the word grassroots,
Hmm.
but it really like you can tell like it's a passion born community where people are running these like big complex events, making their own tools, like making it awesome. So
Yeah. No,
yeah,
absolutely. And
I
you
think that's
got.
super cool. And I can tell too when I'm watching the big broadcasts, they'll bring in like so and so from ESPN. I'm sure that for like regular casters watching those, they're like, "Oh God, that's bad commentary or something." Or yeah, like I know I'm not getting the premier product. I know I'm not getting the good stuff. So
Hmm.
please put me in the right direction. I'm always happy to sing your praises.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great now because like there's just so many options too for all skill levels too of Splatoon. Like you've mentioned we have those bigger broadcasts, especially with our pretty much the major orgs in our scene, IPL and Dapple Productions, and they're hosting obviously this Gamers Outreach event, and just in general they host a lot of the well-known events. But then you got other players that are like maybe like individualized that just are able to host their own tournaments through from Sendu. So you can have like on a just random Saturday night, you could have up to like 8 tournaments running throughout the entire day, and it's like back then that wasn't an option.
That's amazing, honestly. And I'm sure it's a little less popular these days, but I still see people that are like doing what they can to run like a Splatoon 1 LAN, or like some people are like, no, I gotta play Splatoon 2. Like even though the
Oh
scene's
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
significantly smaller. I always think that's super cool. But yeah,
yeah.
Sendu's wild. Like I'm hopping in right now. Hey, look, here's the major season. Hey, look, here's Triton Cup that's happening tomorrow with Dabble Productions. Here's the shoot organization. I mean, there's a lot here.
Yeah.
And they have like individual player boards as well. Yeah, this is the good stuff right here. Like they had this one big good centralized place. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Not every game has the luxury of a tool like this.
Yeah, and it makes it so much easier and helpful too for a lot of beginner players too. You know what I mean? Like I remember back when this was before Sendu really popped off with their website. But there was I pretty much like threw together a guide because that's kind of what sparked me really building into content was like what's something I wish I had when I got into like competitive, and that was a guide to getting into competitive. And I look back at it sometimes and I'm like, I think I released it right before Splatoon 3 release or right at the release of Splatoon 3. And I just like look at the resources then to compared to now, and it's like, wow, so much has changed. So much has gotten more simpler. It's more available.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's incredible.
I feel like 3 really I trying to pinpoint what it was, but I feel like 3 very specifically opened the door for like Splatoon as like a legit force. I don't know if
Hmm.
it's like the net code got a little better or just people's in general, like their language, like esports as a whole
Yeah.
got significantly larger from the time of 2 to 3.
Hmm.
Um, maybe I'm biased. Am I wrong in thinking like the 3 is a more competitively balanced game?
It
I just feel
definitely
like there was,
is.
yeah.
Like I know right now, like because obviously like every other game or like most games, Splatoon does have a meta. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of I've seen a lot of top players that we have in our scene, comment that like the meta right now, in our scene after maybe almost I think what we're like half a year, close to a year of Nintendo really stopping the support of adding new content to change things up with
Yeah.
weapons and stuff. So, the meta's in a
I'm sure
comfortable
that's where you'll
spot.
finally. Yeah, I mean that's how you want to end your game, right?
Yeah.
Where you're not in like I mean, I see games like Smash Ultimate, which is like one of the absolute biggest of this type, of like a competitive Nintendo game that's still mostly supported on like grassroots and not the org themselves.
Hmm.
Um a lot of people would argue like Ultimate's in a terrible spot, where they're left off with like really, really broken characters that people don't like to watch. There's still obviously room for like people that can defy the meta. It's always, and people are going to learn more over the years. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are unhappy with the state that that game is in. So, but meanwhile, I feel like Splatoon people are like, oh yeah, like let's go. Like I still am seeing growth and I'm seeing new events, and I feel like everybody that comes back to Splatoon is like, oh yeah, this is as good as I remember. This is a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Which is, I mean, I even talk with you guys. I'm like, okay, well, I got to boot up and play a little bit, right? Let's see what I still got. Like,
Yeah.
mm.
Speaking of like booting it back up, what weapons do you enjoy playing the most in Splatoon?
All right. So I'm a very particular type of player when it
Okay.
comes to these kinds of games. I pick one thing that I like and I only play that and nothing else.
Okay.
With Monster Hunter, like since 2002, I played Greatsword with Monster Hunter, and I only play Greatsword the entire time. They're making new weapons every game. You can play. I don't know if you played Monster Hunter at all or familiar whatsoever. It's
Hmm.
like
I'm
I'm
familiar a
still new
little
game
bit.
came out. Greatsword only. So for me, my Greatsword of Splatoon is the 52 gal. It's just like a
Okay.
nice. Now, I am fortunate in that it's been a solid or even top tier weapon from what I understand. I think it's been a competitively viable weapon in every single game, which is nice. Maybe that's part of the reason, but I think it's just so. It's simple. I know what I'm getting.
Yeah.
It hits like a tank at close range, but it's still it's somewhat of an all rounder. It's not like deep range, but I know what I'm getting into. I like the feel of like that automatic weapon. It gives me a lot of opportunity for movement because you do have to like outmaneuver to get good shots in.
Yeah.
But I love the thing. I just love that visceral feeling of like two ink blobs like and then you're dead.
Yeah.
Um I there were other ones like I'll use other weapons that are similar. I am like lame like that where I like all of the automatic weapons.
Hmm.
If I'm not doing that, I'm doing like an N zap or the 96 gal. Ooh, spicy, right? I've tried so hard on the other stuff. Even the dualies, I was like, man, I'm not vibing. Why? What's
Hmm.
happening? Um, like I'll do them all. I mean, you have to use them all for the campaigns,
Yeah,
so I'll do that.
absolutely.
But like if I'm playing multiplayer, I think it is at least helpful. Like, it's not good competitively. Like, you should be able to play more than one weapon. From what I understand, though, in Splatoon, you don't necessarily have to know them all. You can have like a specialist, right? That is like,
Yeah.
okay, they're mo-
They mean like mainly just
um
one weapon and they pretty much almost perfect it, like their gameplay for it.
for sure, yeah. And I obviously it depends on the weapon. I'm sure like I think is it NZAP that's really good, where it's like you can use that anywhere,
Yeah,
or is it another
because of
specific area?
tactical layer. Yep.
Yeah.
In S3.
Um So, like there are weapons like that, but for a different game, like League of Legends, people would always like I had a friend who was the best in the world for a single character in League of Legends, and it doesn't matter if you're the best in the world at that. because in that game you can like ban a character from the other side. Like you
Hmm.
have to know all the characters, or like, um, yeah, you know how it is. I with other shooters you might have to know all the weapons, but in this one I can at least find something where I'm like, this pretty much works on every map. This is good enough. It's what I know, and I get to focus on movement, which I really like.
Hmm.
I can load up on your squid speeds or whatever, like just making sure that I can maneuver, and I think that that's something that I enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, boring answer, I guess. But man, I try everything else. Try the umbrellas. I'm like, no, this isn't good. There's been a lot of sloshers that have been good over the years, and like, but I don't like the play style. I
Hmm.
don't want to blob blobs. I don't want to. I will say in like other shooters, I enjoy snipers, but there's something about the charger style that does not feel like sniping in like a first person shooter.
Hmm.
So I couldn't get into chargers, but my regular 52 gal is like dependable. I like it, so that's my go to.
Absolutely, I love it. As a shooter player myself, that's one of the few shooters I've picked up. That and splatter shot, obviously, can't go wrong with a good old splatter shot.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, they're all, I shouldn't say they're all the same. That's probably a super, like, uninformed thing to say to, like, a competitive Splatoon player. You know,
Honestly,
like,
to a lot of
like
competitive, a
like
shooter's a
you
shooter,
shooter.
so
Yeah.
you're right on the money.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I like shooting. It's like simple. I think it's also like for inking turf, I know exactly what I'm getting. I point in this direction, I spray and pray, right? It all
Yeah.
it all comes together. So, um, yeah.
Awesome. How have you felt about the new tech that were released for Splatoon 3? So like the squid surge, the squid roll, because those were
Oh,
newly
I mean,
introduced.
oh yeah. I mean, good, right? Like
Yeah.
more movement option. Like the best thing about Splatoon is the movement options, and it's
Hmm.
like, oh hey, cool, we added new awesome movement options. I do think like some of them, like if there've been like more balanced patches, maybe I need to reinform myself. I haven't been able to play for I'd say 8 to 12 months.
Hmm.
Um, there are some where I'm like, okay, like this type of movement is a little overpowered. It starts to feel like wave dashing in melee or something. Where it's like, okay, I need to
Oh
know this.
yeah.
It's hurting my hands to constantly,
Yeah.
like do my rolls at every single opportunity. But I mean, I it feels good. Like they found ways to just make swimming through the ink, jumping through it, changing directions, like that's the appeal of Splatoon over other shooters, I feel like.
Hmm.
Especially because it's one of the only third person shooters. Um I mean, what else is there? That's like third person and running now. Fortnite, right? Like
Yeah,
and
I think that's the closest.
I can't move in Fortnite like I can in Splatoon.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can what is
Yeah.
it? You could slide, but that's about it.
Yeah, right. I can't bounce off the walls, with like brief periods of invulnerability and
Yeah.
sprint up the walls and stuff. There now, don't get me wrong. There's like all kinds of impressive like micro managing you can do with building and stuff. I'm not good at Fortnite at all. I mean, you couldn't even really say I'm good at Splatoon either, but like it's just not a style of gameplay that I have fun with. I will say for Splatoon, like a lot of games I'll drop if I'm not good at them. I
Hmm.
do have like a competitive nature because I've been like a esports like gamer. I guess card games aren't exactly esports, but they're adjacent, right?
Yeah.
So like if I'm not good at something, I usually drop it. But I find that even when I lose in Splatoon, I'm having a good time, which I
Hmm.
feel like is like the mark for a good game. Now, don't get me wrong, because it's team based. I'll get in plenty of games where I'm like, oh, my teammates, what are you doing? I don't. But that's also because I'm playing randoms and not with a team. There's no
Yeah.
comms, so
No,
it's
absolutely.
it's different. I will say they need to make it easier for me to have more like preset things that I can say if I'm playing like non-verbally with
Hmm.
other players. Let me use that whole D-pad. Let me load
Yeah.
up like extra, come here, fall back, whatever. Like more specific stuff. We can learn the lingo,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Not just your this way and booyah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's not useful. I know, like modern shooters too are adding a lot of things where it's like you create a waypoint and everybody can see that. Like there's
Hmm.
more nonverbal ways to speak. Nintendo has always been way, way, way far behind though when it comes to communications.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if you saw the Switch 2 announcement stuff or not, but like,
Yes, I'd have.
they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we just added the Discord button, or whatever. So it's like,
Yeah, but at this point they might as well with how they what the Switch 2 now also has just a built-in microphone on it too that you don't even need like a to plug in a
yeah.
headset.
I mean, that could be nice. I'm always, I'm kind of like I get social anxiety when it comes to like playing with total randos. I'm like, ooh, do I want to talk to you? Do I want to
Yeah.
have the mic on? It depends on the game too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, I so it depends, but for something like Splatoon, like yeah, you need to be able to talk somehow. So at least they're doing this versus like the really horrible half-assed way where it's like use the phone app where you can call your friends. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I have to play on my PC with Discord on the side. So this might alleviate that, and that would be nice.
Yeah, and honestly, speaking of the Switch 2, that was one of the questions I did have on here. What are your overall thoughts about the Switch 2? This will switch gears probably for one of the last times.
Ah, we'll
But
switch gears. Yeah, sorry for taking you over time.
no, you're fine. This
But
is my thing is like, you know what? This can go as long or as short as you'd prefer or as just the flow goes.
Switch 2. Um, Mostly positive, I would
Hmm.
say. I mean, it's been so long since the last Nintendo console, and
Yeah.
I'm like, even though I've stressed, like, I play on so many other consoles, I'm not a Nintendo locked guy,
Hmm.
despite how people know my content. I still buy every Nintendo console. This is the first one. This is just from my life perspective where I'm like,
Hmm.
ooh, I don't know if I need to buy it. I
Yeah.
don't need it for content. That said, it comes out on my wife and I's 10th anniversary. Like
Oh,
June
very
5th is
nice.
literally our 10th anniversary. So we're like, oh well, maybe we can pretend to justify the high cost by this is our anniversary gift to each other.
Yeah.
$450 is a lot
Hmm.
for what it offers. I think it's a little high. And then you hear like, oh yeah, 70 and $80 games.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, like that's tougher. There's also a few other things where I'm like, oh, really? The lack of OLED screen for me is
Hmm.
actually a big deal. I hate that I have the eyes that I do, but I do.
Hmm.
I see the difference for an OLED screen. I see the difference when it's a 60 frames or 120 frames, So like I hate that I see it. I wish I could unsee it. I wish I could be blind to it. But like
Yeah.
I know when I go from my Switch OLED to my, LCD Switch 2, I don't care what HDR you put on it. I play most of my games portably and I'm gonna see that that screen is still not as good and that's gonna
Hmm.
bother me.
Yeah.
Um Same thing happened to me. I own a Steam Deck and I had the Steam Deck and the Switch OLED. And immediately as I boot up the Steam Deck, I'm like, oh, I see the difference. No. Still a great device. And then
Yeah.
of course, like a year or two later, they come up with the Steam Deck OLED. I'm like, damn it. Like I'm back to square one.
Yeah.
So now it is I'm left with that annoying, like, all right, you got me. I'm probably buying the Switch 2, and then you're gonna come out with the Switch 2 OLED in a year or two, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna feel real dumb. But that said, getting past most of the negative stuff, there are a lot of things that I think are really interesting. I It's a little bit bigger, which is great. I
Hmm.
have quite oversized hands, so for me, even like you know, I'll take the biggest console I can. A Joy-Con
Absolutely.
is Joy-Con especially, man.
Oh, dude, that thing is tiny.
I know it's killing me.
Yeah.
Um, I was really into competitive speedrunning for Mario Odyssey when it was new.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
I started on the Pro controller, but then all this advanced tech came out. Of course, it's a motion controls thing where it was like there's some stuff that you can only do with the Joy-Con. I was like, oh my god, this is like hurting my hands too much.
Mm-hmm.
They're too small.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm excited for slightly bigger Joy Cons. I'm excited for some of their dedicated pushes to things like better frame rate, better resolution, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure from my experience with like Nintendo games, the ones that are going to look the best are going to be the ones that Nintendo makes.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
The third party games, I don't think I'm cranking out 120 frames per second when I'm playing Cyberpunk or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of that footage looked a little rougher. I can never tell with that preview stuff. I'm like,
Mm-hmm. It's
does
always
this
they make it
actually
hard to
look
tell,
that?
I swear.
I'm like, is this actually look that bad, or was that what the company decided to submit for like their footage? You know, it looked just atrocious though.
Mm-hmm.
Was the video calling?
Yes,
The
I was gonna
the
say give up
screens of the
props for sharing that because that was
yeah
insane.
yeah. I was like, I would never like I would show like a screenshot. I would never be like, hey,
Yeah.
look, here's our Discord calls, but the when you watch other people's gameplay, it's at like 3 frames per second. They
Yes.
really focused on it too. They were like,
For
you
a
can watch your
while.
friends. You can watch your friend's screen. I think it was. I don't know if it was for everybody, but for you, when you watched it live, was it the audio also desynced?
Yes,
Um,
it was by like
it's like,
a second and a half or a half a second. It was bothering me so
oh,
much.
but yeah, I was like, what incredible irony that this segment is bugged when you're talking about video calls. Like, um, it didn't look great. That like just that part. But I know like what Nintendo can do when they have their own dedicated hardware, they go all out.
Hmm.
Case in point, Splatoon 3 looks great, runs extremely smooth. Like frame drops are very rare in that. I've seen a lot of people being like, "Oh, awesome. Like we have a 120 frames per second shooter coming up."
Hmm.
Maybe. I mean, anything to give you that like extra piece of precision, like if you've played shooters, that's going to feel great. Um Titles wise, I guess it's not really hardware, but titles wise, they made that direct for me. They made it for me specifically. Um, Kirby Air Ride blew my mind. Like
Yeah.
when they show Kirby tapping away at the warp star. I'm sitting here next to him, like, no way. There's no way. I'm excited for Sakurai to finally be out of Smash Bros. Prison.
Yeah.
That dude loves making games, and I think he's gonna love making a game for his baby more than anything else. Air Ride's just also a super great, super underrated game. Also a game that has its own like crazy grassroots scene. There's competitive Air Ride City Trials. They've made like ROM for it that has the like improved net code or
Hmm.
whatever, the
Yeah.
rollback. That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
Um so it's like the people that love that game, and I love that game. I'm also one of the biggest FromSoft fans in the world, so I could not believe that there's some wild new Bloodborne esque. I don't. There's some weird multiplayer elements. We don't know a lot about it. All I know is that Miyazaki's making a FromSoft game, and for some insane reason, it's a Switch exclusive. So they got me. They got me again. They did this with the PlayStation when the PlayStation 5 dropped. It was like, hey, we're bringing back Demon Souls only on PlayStation 5. And I was like, I cannot believe I have to. Like, I normally like to wait on a console unless they got the thing that forces me to get it.
Yeah.
Um, Mario Kart looks awesome. Not much more to say about that. Like, big open world racing looks cool. 24 people racing at a time. That's going to be great. I don't know if if you're a big Mario Kart guy or if you've spent a long time analyzing what's out there. Like,
Hmm.
but they really went full like everyone is here
Yes,
with
they
it.
did. Yes,
You can
every
play as the
enemy.
cow.
Yes, the
Yeah.
cat. I remember. I think my favorite one I saw was that you could play as the what's the character? The one from Mario Sunshine. Um,
Oh yeah, the duck thing.
yes, the doctor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I saw
I
that.
love that.
They got all the costumes and stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, I like that. I think I was most impressed just what I saw visually by the Donkey Kong game.
Oh
I
yes.
just not only visually, but the way that the levels were designed, the way the cutscenes look. I would be shocked. I would be shocked. I'm not going to put money down. We'll put. I'll put my invisible Splatoon my shells currency down. I will I will sacrifice my re rolls for saying that I guarantee the dev team behind that game was the dev team that they used for Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, I
It's
see. I
like
know exactly what you
what
mean.
was it? It's like what is it? Nintendo like Tokyo EAD or what? I may be messing up a letter here, but
But it's that one of the
it just
teams. Yeah.
yeah, looked a lot like that. Looked really good. I'm very excited for that. I just love a good like single player adventure. So
Hmm.
like games wise, for me, the exclusives are kind of like what I need to own a console because if there's not exclusives, I don't need the new console per se, like unless it's bringing groundbreaking tech.
Yeah.
So they got me with enough of those. I'm a little sad that it's going to cost more money.
Yeah.
Video games have been in this very fortunate position where they've been somewhat inflation proof forever. People don't remember this, but I just pulled up an old magazine. There were $70 games on the Super Nintendo, back in
Hmm.
94 or whatever, 96. Video games cost that much always, or they were more. And only now is that crack finally starting to break.
Hmm.
Um, as someone that is like trying to be as fiscally responsible as possible, I actually buy games less than ever. I'm lucky enough where all my local libraries have games.
Okay.
So I put myself on the list where saying like, hey, I want this game, and 9 times out of 10, like the longest I have to wait is a week or two. I'm like, hey, here you go. Most games I can do what I wanted to do with it in a week or two. I gave it back. It cost me $0. Like that's the best.
Hmm.
That is the reason I'm still able to play games today as like a dad, where I'm supposed to be allocating my money to the child. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but I'm gaming for free. So I'm praying that the Switch 2 will be supported by my local library system. Also, if you're watching this or listening to this, support your local library. You will have your mind blown. There's so many more things than just books that they offer now, whether that's like technology or tools that you can rent or free like ebooks or podcasts or movies or games. Like there's a lot. Oh man, and manga. If you're a manga reader, that's the place to go now these days. I like the tactile stuff. I know that people like watching, the Shonen Jump app or whatever. I'm all about just like turning a page right to left. It's just a good experience.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, I got totally off the switch too. Sorry,
No, you're
my
fine.
library rant is essential. So
Absolutely.
I'm not thrilled about the prospect of dropping 70 $80 on all these titles. Like that
Hmm.
is going to cost a lot. System's going to cost a lot. Um, there's some things about the tech where I'm like, man, if they gave me an OLED, I wouldn't even be thinking about this. That
Yeah.
actually was a big deal to me. I hate that my eyes can see the true blacks, but because they can, whatever. That said, I'm also open to seeing like what people say. Like you said, the press stuff is just coming out today. People
Hmm.
are showing footage of like, hey, here's me playing it in my hands.
Yeah.
Here's how this feels. Here's how that feels. So I'm I'm open to what they have to share. I'm excited though. The Switch has felt a little bit technically underpowered, especially if you play a game that Nintendo didn't develop themselves, like
Hmm.
maximizing their console that's running on like a phone graphics card. Um, it's still like I still feel like we're gonna get to the point where it's like, man, the Switch 2 is underpowered too.
Hmm.
But I'm hoping that it's enough. Like, I feel like the big litmus test for them is like, can GTA 6 run on the Switch 2? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's got what it takes. Some I know that they're really relying on that like AI based like upscaling technology or it makes things really blurry. There's a
Yeah.
word for it and I can't think of it, but I'm curious. That said, like I shouldn't be able to play games so much better on my Steam Deck versus my Switch. That
Hmm.
feels bad. Monster Hunter Rise is like the number one example where like that game was like a stable 25 frames per second and then it's like a clear 60 on the Steam Deck.
Hmm.
They're kind of doing that too where they're like, "Oh yeah, you can upgrade some of our old titles to make them not look like garbage." Pokemon was the one that made me laugh the most.
Yes, Scarlet and Violet.
Like, hey, do you want to see what this game should look like on proper hardware? You want to? And to be honest, I'm like, wow, like I shouldn't say it looks good, but I mean, compared to what we had before, you want to talk about unoptimized games for the Switch? Boy, did Game Freak give us a real special selection for pretty much every game that wasn't Let's Go Pikachu,
Yeah.
which runs great, but that's also like, it is not graphically demanding.
Yeah, I mean, great until you're in Viridian Forest post game, and every Pokemon that's spawning has the swirls around them for like the
Okay,
sizes.
That's where you start pushing the limit. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, then
China
it
and
starts
player.
burning down.
But yeah, it's and even then, right? It's like, really, guys? Like, now
Hmm.
that could just be Game Freak, because there's some games I'll play on the Switch. They're so optimized and so beautiful. I'm like, wow, you guys crushed it.
Yep.
And then you'll play something, especially third party stuff. Some of it is just like unplayable. I think is Borderlands. I know Borderlands 4 is on the Switch. Is Borderlands like the other Borderlands games on the Switch? I just remember hearing about something. I know personally, like it was on sale. It was like last year's NBA 2K or something. What many years ago.
Hmm.
We'll say it was 2K19 or something, and it just was just an abomination. I'd like press a button and the input lag was like a full second, which like imagine playing Splatoon with input lag of a second or something. It would
Yeah,
just be
that's
horrible.
insane. Yeah,
It
unplayable
and,
practically.
yeah, it was an unplayable experience. So I'm hoping for a little more of that. Like, can I just play every third party game? I'm a big portable gamer. I love playing games in bed. Terrible habit, but I still love doing it.
Hmm.
Um, so the more good games that I can play that way are great. Not sure about the mouse thing though.
That was
I need to
interesting.
I need to see it to do it. On paper, it does not look comfortable to use the
Hmm.
Joy-Con as a mouse. This is as someone like I literally just a month or two ago, I just had to have surgery for a like a tendon issue
Hmm.
from repeated mouse movement. I use the most ergonomic mouse possible. Like I can't hold regular mice anymore.
Yeah.
I have a it's called the hand shoe
Oh,
mouse.
okay. Yeah,
Like
I've seen those. Yeah.
um I love it. It feels great. But yeah, as far as like gaming goes, I mean, let me hold like that hurts. So for me, it's called it's a French word, so I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. It's called decurvains, tenosini. It's like the word tendonitis, but it's
Hmm.
like tenosivitis or something. Anyway,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
it hurts when I move like my thumb across or like up and down like that, and I have to move my thumb across to hold like that feels god awful. There's
Hmm.
please tell me that I can use like my own mouse.
Yeah.
I did read in like their fine print for the webcam. It's like you can use your own webcam
Yes.
sometimes.
Yeah. It has to be USB-C, but
USB
you can use
C.
any. Yeah.
I've never used a USB C webcam in my life. I now my questions are like one, do I just got to buy my own? I've seen. I mean, they're cheaper than theirs. Theirs is like $50.
Hmm.
Um, if I take a regular webcam and just use one of those little caps, that's like USB A or whatever to
Oh
C.
yeah, like those adapters. Yeah.
I have no clue. Does that work? Like, is all you need a camera? Either way, cheaper options than theirs exist.
Hmm.
But if they're saying you can use your own external that, can I use my own external mouse? Um, I also, funnily enough, they revealed that one game that's like a wheelchair basketball game,
Yes, that we have to use
and
both the Joy Cons to like pushing a wheelchair.
it's so funny. Everybody came to me with that game. I am a huge basketball like player and basketball fan.
Hmm.
Part of the reason why I got the wrist problems that I do. But and my favorite manga is about wheelchair basketball. It's called Real. It's from the creator of Slam Dunk.
Hmm.
If you have not read Real yet, just give it a shot. It's not 100% done yet, but enough of it is out there where you'll get something out of it. You'll learn about yourself in the process. So everybody's like, "Oh my god, they made a wheelchair basketball game for you." But I don't just that doesn't look good. Or that doesn't look natural.
Yeah.
Where am I? Am I rolling them against my legs? Like the do I need to be at a desk?
Yeah,
Like to like
I
is it
imagine it's
just
gotta be on a desk because the way I've seen it, like at least from the direct, maybe I think I saw like one of the videos of an actual like a creator, trying it out, and of course the setup they had for it was, well, a desk platform. Like I imagine it's gotta just be how it's similar to the actual sensor of of a normal mice, where like it works way better if you're on a flat platform. But like if you think about where most people have their switches, like on like a TV, you expect them to
yeah,
just sit on the
exactly.
floor or the bed? I mean, portable
Well, a
table.
little
Are they gonna sell Nintendo Switch portable
yeah.
tables?
I feel like I would never make a game like with the mouse as a required tool, but there are others where it's useful, like with the shooter. Like I saw what they're doing with Metroid, for example.
Hmm.
That does have very interesting implications for Splatoon, though. Like, will it be required to use a mouse for that extra level of precision? I've
Yeah.
always really liked the motion controls aspect of
Hmm.
Splatoon.
Yeah.
I feel like it's pretty untaxing on the hands, and the level of precision is actually pretty good with motion. I like the gyro. I've always liked it,
Hmm.
but yeah, like if you've played a regular shooter, one thing you can't do with gyro is I can't go, "Oot," and all of a sudden I've turned 180 degrees around. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. Like this is Pandora's box, right? Like especially for competitive games. Like okay, you've added some kind of mouse. Are we doing this? Are we all in? And if we are, can I use my own mouse, please? I don't. I don't know how I feel about sliding a little Joy-Con. That said, get me a browser again, and
Hmm.
I'm all for it. The Wii U browser was low key, kind of great, and then the Switch didn't have one. No, I feel like it's probably security concerns, but no
Yeah.
consoles do browsers anymore. Um, there's lots of situations where I'm like, listen, I just want to get all my media in one place. If you give me a browser, I can do all the stuff that I want. You know, I might want to pull video off of something that's not connected to Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want an app. Sometimes I just want to go online and find a thing. So you know, or use unsavory methods to encounter live sports entertainment that is not connected to cable.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Like a live stream, like make it easier, or like
exactly.
because you can't really use the Twitch or YouTube apps for that. So
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a exactly. And even then, is there even a Twitch app on the Switch, for example?
actually, now
I
that I
don't
think
remember.
about it, I don't know if they ever actually did one, but I know the YouTube one
Yeah,
obviously, but I
they
think
have a
people
USB.
wanted the Twitch one.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think there's a mod for
I
one
could
at
look it up.
least, but that's about it.
So yeah, exactly. Like that's not super accessible. I mean that like for a lot of people, um, I mean heck, I had a friend and they were like, hey, on your Steam Deck, like, is it good for playing videos? And I was like, not really, but I mean, it's also a PC, so you can play your VLC media player and put whatever you want on it. And they were
Yeah.
like, cool. That's all I need because I want all my stuff on one device. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like, yeah, you can just play videos on your phone, but your phone's not a PC either. There's
Hmm.
limitations there. So, anyway,
Exactly.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm just thinking of ways where the mouse would be useful or cool for me.
Hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I think that would probably be one of the greatest additions they could add, is just being like, you know what, it's hey, as long as it's USB-C, I guess, right? Or maybe I have the Bluetooth option to just attach a
Exactly.
mouse to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean that like that's all the Bluetooth work is on the hub, right?
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
just recognize that as a USB device. And you could already do that with a lot of stuff. You can like with USB based like controllers or whatever. You can mod all kinds of crazy stuff to work with the Switch, but we'll see. That would be a big deal for me personally though. I don't know how I feel about dragging the Joy-Con around. Really great for strategy games though. I think they
Yeah.
showed it for Civ. There's a lot of genres that would be improved greatly by using the mouse. So yeah,
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to it. And what, 2 more months out, and then we
don't
we'll
say
have it.
that. even if it's true, don't say that. Oh wow, it really is.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
time flies.
scared.
Yeah. It kind of like in my mind, I'm like, oh, they just announced it, so it won't be around for a while.
Yeah,
But
right. Like maybe like a post summer release, September, October, right in time for the holidays. But no,
whew,
we're like
yeah,
start of summer. Here you go.
we're doing this. We're doing this.
All
Okay.
right. So one of the final last questions we have before we can start wrapping up that I have is I want to find out a little more about your experience and familiarity with Gamers Outreach. I know you did recently earlier say that you do work with them. So how
Yeah.
take me through how you found them, what you loved about their organization, and how it brought you to them today.
Absolutely. So yeah, that is my real career, and it's the reason that I've been introduced to you guys and working with you is through the charity events that we've run in the past. I run things through the talent team. I'm a talent manager over at Gamers Outreach. This is my third year working there, which has been a pretty wild experience. The main thing that we do is we try and bring more games and relaxation to kids and children's hospitals. It's a really scary, isolating place to be in a children's hospital. And the idea is to just bring a sense of normalcy to the situation, especially when you're a kid. Like, if you all of a sudden you have to spend a long period of time in a place that isn't your home, our goal is to make it more like a home or at least give you a distraction from what's going on. There's also a lot of situations where living in the hospital is a lot of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
They will spend their time in a hospital or a good majority of it. And so we're just trying to make it as accessible and fun as possible through our love language, video games. Gamers Outreach has been around for a super long time. I've done stuff with them in the past or been a part of other people's charity streams that work with them. I really like the mission. The main thing, of course, they're not just handing out like consoles um, at hospitals. There's a lot of different levels of like approval you need to get and sanitation that's required for tech to be in hospitals. So they deliver things to these kiosks called go karts. I know you know what a go kart is,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah. So I just found like the need to be really good. I've already told you about how like I just am a gamer. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of my identity. So I
Yeah.
have we've all been there. We've all had a shitty day and playing a video game made it better or got our minds off of it or gave us people to talk with online, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or gave us something to imagine, something to listen to, something that, you know, brings us to another world. So I love games, and I even just at a base level, I like the idea of making gaming more accessible. Not everybody can afford a video game console in general, so the idea of like bringing games to people on their worst day, I feel like is pretty noble. There's obviously a lot of really important research and fundraising that's required for treatment. That's like the number one thing for people is you want to make sure that they're happy and healthy. But for a lot of people, like living in the hospital, it's a necessity. Like people are always going to need to come to hospitals for one reason or another. And for kids, just want to give them a better day. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Um, when they were hiring for the first time a couple years ago, my wife sent me the thing. I was in a spot between jobs. I was like, no, I'm going back to full time content. Nothing could make me change my mind. And this job pops up, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, you know what? Like this kind of seems beautiful. One of the things that I had felt kind of burned on personally over my last few years of like work, and I mean, this is kind of all work, like all industries, is the people at the top being like really really obsessed with profit, moving the bottom line, etc.
Yeah.
And I personally felt really burned by that. Like I'm passionate about doing stuff, making video content, even things like marketing. Like I'm passionate about making a good campaign, but I feel like there needs to be some like making something beautiful should be its own reward to some degree and not just like, you know, okay, but how do we make an AI of that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how do we
Yeah.
how do we dehumanize this and make it as cheap as possible and make as much of it as possible? You know how it is. So
Yeah.
the idea of being able to do something that helps people in itself, like I was like, oh, this is really exciting. I'm totally willing to like take a pay cut and change my lifestyle if it's something that's rewarding. So that was a part of it. Is I was just like, this is beautiful. This is cool. This is something I care about. I did a lot of extra research about them. One thing about charity organizations that people don't know is that you can look up everybody's like financial information.
Hmm.
For every single charity organization. You can find their 990s and look through it. And everything I saw was like, oh, they're just super clean, small, cool, like tight knit. Gonna use that word again, grassroots organization. Um, their whole start off was back in like 2008. It was just a couple of kids who wanted to run like a Halo tournament at their school. And this is back when, it's like, ooh, video games with a boogeyman.
Yeah.
Some angry mom or dad called the cops and the cops shut it down. They were like, "No, you can't play a violent video game in our school." Um, so they were like so slighted by that they're like, "What do you mean? Like video games are a great tool for like camaraderie, making the world a better place." So they're like, "Fine, we're gonna host our own LAN and we're gonna do it for charity instead, just to prove to you guys like video gaming can make good things happen. It's not like we don't play Halo because we're obsessed with killing each other. We play it because it's a fun game and it's a good community aspect. And
Yeah.
so that was sort of the start of it was just that. And then they're like, okay, well, we're playing Halo. We got some recognition. Then they started working with Microsoft, and they sort of creating some of those earlier, um, like very early go kart units, where it's like, okay, well, what is a way that we can bring more games in? Now they have go karts for all kinds of things, like all the video game consoles that you can run. They're even working on like PC based ones, etc. So just I think it's really cool bringing games to more people. That's what I'm all about. And I get to do it through my own personal like lens, my brand, which is content.
Hmm.
So my big thing is trying to find like, okay, who's putting out really cool streams, who's got great vibes, like what are the types of communities that we would love to, spread our message to. Ideally it's all of them, but I think because we work with children, you have to have a little bit more discretion of like finding like, okay, what's a cool spot for that. Obviously Splatoon became like a really early one for me where I was like,
Hmm.
this is perfect. This is a super cool, like it's competitive, but it's also something that is, a little more kid friendly. Not that we don't like for games, we support all kinds of games regardless of the age rating, but just seemed like a good match. Um Working with you guys was super cool. The tournament that you guys did for our HP for Heroes last year was like probably one of my highlights of 2024.
That's
Just a
awesome.
lot of fun. You guys are super great to work with, and the tournament was hyped too. Like whenever you get a bracket reset, it's like, oh, let's go. And I think it's obviously I think it's for a good cause. I wouldn't be working for them if I didn't, but
Hmm.
I just like being able to do my little part. It's all super cool seeing like the way that we've been able to expand. We hit a couple more countries every year, so it's not just North America. But I know, like in North America, they hit like, or in the United States, I know we're in something like 90-95% of the children's hospitals around.
Oh wow.
So it's really exciting being able to tell somebody like, hey, have you been to a children's hospital? Do you know somebody who is? You might be able to find a go kart there, which I think is super cool. Even though my son isn't always there, when he was young, he had to go in and out of children's hospitals a lot. So it was also something that was like, close to me. Like I've seen the environments, I see what it's like.
Hmm.
You know, um, my son would have extended stays, and then I'd see the kid from across who's like, "Oh, this is my fifth month." So I don't know. Just like bringing games to people, anyways. You heard me in my library spiel earlier. I just love
Yeah.
like you know it like I come from a media background. I want media to be accessible. I want people to be able to enjoy the same stuff that I am without there being like a massive price barrier. Um, so it's one way to do that, but it's also a way to just make people feel better. Yeah, that's what we're all about at Go. It's been fun working with you guys specifically, but I'm always like excited to be like transparent because I believe in what we do, and
Mhm.
it's also just been like a nice natural. You guys kind of got my whole career arc, like or I get to still. I always like to do something that I'm passionate about. I probably am not the best person to reach to. Like this is not a financial podcast, right? Like
Yeah,
anything
no,
that comes
yeah.
out of me, I'm not going to really teach you how to be rich, but I'll teach you how to find something that you really believe in and love. And will it always make you happy? I don't know, dude. I'm turning 35 this year. I don't have all the answers, but it's what's worked for me. Even if it's not your full career, like you should always have something that I feel like you just really like. Man, I'm obsessed with this thing. I want to learn more about it. Meet the community and find like what makes this thing cool. Find what make gotta have something that really sparks joy. I feel like that's important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Jay Witz,
I've taken you
absolutely.
way over time. I've taken
It's
myself way
okay.
over time. It's
I
this old
mean,
man's bedtime. But let me know if you got any final questions, anything,
I was
whatever.
just about to say I'm
Yeah.
looking through, and I think that wraps everything up. Um, that was a beautiful way, honestly, to end things off. And thank you so much for giving that insight, not only about, of course, what you do at Gamers Outreach and what you provide with them, and overall, but everything you shared with me here today, and of course those listening and watching. I mean, this has been so much fun. It's very rare I get opportunities like this. um and I just want to say thank you. And this is the part of the show where usually I like to give the floor to the guests to shout out whatever, whoever they would love to shout out, give out their socials where people can find you, or talk about anything that might be on your mind that you'd love to finish off with. So Jay, it's
Yeah,
floor is
I you know
yours.
I f- yeah I feel like I got you kind of prematurely on that, right? Like I talked about like my whole life philosophy and stuff. I've already given you my oh hey go to your library. You know how it be. If you want to find me, I am Jwitz or the Jwitz everywhere, as we kind of discussed earlier. I'll be honest, I'm not super active on social media these days. Trying to you know wean myself off of it. It can be a pretty rough place out there these days. I'll make a blue sky post every once in a while talking about what cards I pulled or whatever. Um, you can find me over there at I don't know Bisky. You guys tagged it bisky.app/ the Jwitz. That's me. Um, I'll do a Twitch stream every once in a while, mostly Pokemon TCG Pocket because it's been like nice and casual and fun, and maybe once or twice a year see a video from me on YouTube at youtube.com/ the Jwitz. Like I mentioned, working on a few odd projects here or there. I got a Yu-Gi-Oh one. I've got a Pokemon TCG lot or Pokemon TCG Pocket one, and maybe someday I'll make that 4-hour Ace Attorney video. I've been replaying all those games. That's my current obsession. I've done 8 of the 10 games now. Replaying them. I haven't played any of them for the first time on this one. I just got to the great games. They not only are great games, but they're literally called the Great Ace Attorney. The ones the ones set in like London. They're my personal favorites, so I'm very excited for that. I don't really have anything too crazy to say, but I think it is nice just to be able to sort of share the whole journey. It's been hard, I think, for me to sort of admit after all these years, like I think for a while I just be like, damn, I'm washed, aren't I? Like it's over. I'm not doing anything anymore. Like and for some people that is hard, especially people are like, hey, I've been watching your content my whole life and you stopped. What happened? Well, life happened. My major passion in life, like well, even beyond video games, is just being a dad. And that's not something that's like very shareable. I'm
Hmm.
not like
Yeah.
I don't want to put my son on camera. Like he doesn't even understand the internet fully yet. Like he doesn't know what it's like. And so I don't want to share that. It's pretty private, but I love doing that. And so for me it's like anything I get to do on the side that's still like cool and passion is awesome. Just not the full-time Nintendo guy anymore. But I will say one thing that makes it really great is one, being able to live vicariously through all the other people that are making cool content, which is what I've been doing in my career, is like stepping back and aiding other content creators. Let me help you make a cool charity stream. I might not be able to to go in there in the trenches, but I'll be there for the support. Um, but it's also just a great opportunity for me to be a fan again. Like, no, they're not flying me out and giving me a free Switch 2 anymore. I'm sitting here clicking refresh, hoping that I'm able to get my pre-order or whatever. Um, but it's great to just be able to play a game and not feel like I gotta make a video about it,
Mhm.
and not be like, I gotta cover this. It's gotta be content. And to have that like drive end has kind of helped me refine my love in doing these fun things. There's that old adage. Well, it goes both ways. When I was a kid, the thing was just like, do what you love and you won't work a day in your life. And that is I think it's total BS. It actually goes the other way,
Yeah.
work what you love, and then the thing that you love becomes work, right?
Yeah.
There's a balance between those two things, and I feel like I'm finally reclaiming it. And so that's been nice. So yeah, it is kind of nice having the opportunity to like openly say like, yeah, I'm not that Jwittz anymore. So I appreciate you opening your doors to me and allowing me to sort of spill it all out here for you all. Ink the turf, as they say. All right, I definitely got to go to bed. So
Absolutely. Listen, it's been a pleasure having you. This has been wonderful conversation. And it's been nice to pick your brain, see where you've come along. As someone myself too has been like, I don't want to say new into content creation, but been, dabbling in it throughout the past couple of years. It's really nice to kind of also just get that insight from someone who's been doing it for so long. And how the road goes, you know what I mean? Especially if on a
oh, for sure, yeah.
perspective. So
It'll maybe things change. Maybe in 5 years, all of a sudden I'm back on the content grind because I found that spark and something went crazy. Or maybe I completely disappear and delete every social media channel. I don't know what's coming, but I at least like that I'm able to, like, not a lot of people are still doing it after the 15 plus years. Like,
hmm
not a lot of channels are that old and like still doing it. And like, yeah, I know I'm not doing it like I used to, but I'm still there. I didn't call it quits. I didn't shutter the doors completely. So it is nice to be able to chat. And because I'm working in this industry, I'm always seeing what everybody else is doing. And honestly, the truth is, like, these new kids out here, man, they're
hmm
so much better than I ever was. You guys got all the tech. You grew up in this environment, but there's that classic line. It's like, the time is now, old man.
Yeah.
It's time for the new people. Keep making cool stuff, making cool tools. Even if I'm not there making it, I'm still watching it. So keep making cool stuff out there. Speaking of cool stuff, super excited for the tournament. I'll be watching as much as I can. I'm doing on-site stuff this year for Gamers for Giving.
Oh,
So I'm
awesome.
going to be running all around, through the LAN, assisting some of our teams that are like physically there. We have like physical events and stuff, but any moment I can, I will make sure to watch or at least recap because last year's tournament was my highlight watching live. So good stuff. And I'll spend some more time on Sendu. And oh boy, will I be reconnecting when Splatoon 4. I can't even, what's great about Splatoon is it's so successful. I don't have to say if Splatoon 4. I can say
hmm
when Splatoon 4 drops.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe
It'll
mouse
be exciting.
controls. Maybe mouse controls for it. We'll see.
I can't, I don't know how I feel about that yet. Let me
I
see
don't
how
know
it goes in
either.
like yeah, like I mean, you saw the wrist, so
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I get it. I get it.
But regardless, listen, even if I'm garbage at Splatoon competitive, I will still play, I will still try, and I'll always play the campaigns because I'm obsessed with the lore. So, all right,
Sounds like a
stay
plan.
fresh. Yeah.
Jay, good luck at the lands. Enjoy the stream this weekend. I know I will. Thank you all for those listening and watching. And again, a huge thank you to Jay Witch for coming on out. But that'll do it for this episode of the Cactus Patch. I have been your host, Cactus. We'll